Hello, everyone. Oh, that's not where that's supposed to be. Hi. Good morning. Jen, that's some bad timing.
I can feel it. I'm like, oh no. I can feel it right as I
Jen just like presses the button and goes,
I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone.
What's up, everyone?
Hello.
Welcome back. It's Thursday. I'm Ray. Hello, T. Schmidt. Tim, what's going on?
Saying you are Ray. I'm like, no, you're not.
I am not Ray.
Jordan.
I am, in fact, not Ray. But that is
yes,
I am Ray.
Now I see it.
Yeah. I remembered the name this time.
Yeah.
It's been a while since Jen has heard me say it correctly. Tech Daddy, greetings from the Philippines.
From the Philippines.
Man, that's awesome. Well, you're like one day ahead of us, right? What time is it for you over there? What the heck?
Are you on vacation or did you move to the Philippines?
Awkwardish, what's up? Just want to say I have been peer pressured by chat.
For what?
I'm going to drill a gun barrel today.
Oh, yes. I think they would revolt if you didn't.
Yeah.
Work. Okay.
So this man is going to get a drilled gun barrel. You're welcome, chat.
Tech Daddy, do you enjoy traveling for work? You're saying unfortunately, so I get that the work part might not be great, but the travel part, I always enjoy it. You should be fired if you don't drill your barrels, said Punisher.
That is not true at all.
But I am from the future. Your ways are quaint. General Ginkgo, hello.
Stuck on there. Look at that. Look at that nice drilled barrel, chat. Look at that. Aren't you guys proud of me?
It was Wad Tomato, I think, right? Or no, Bakamaru, maybe?
I think it was like, Bakamaru.
You have to drill those.
Yeah, you must do this. Well, when Bakamaru shows up today, hopefully,
satisfied.
There will be satisfaction to be had.
5:04 Friday morning in the Philippines.
5:04 Friday morning.
Time difference.
What on earth are you doing up at 5 a.m.?
You're up real early.
Ransom Vomit, hello. Good morning. I hope you guys are all having a good Thursday. I know, it's Thursday, right? It's crazy. Time flies around here. We got LVO next week.
Gosh.
I know.
I'm not even going and I'm stressed out about it.
No need to be stressed out about it.
There's a lot going on that I have to do for LVO. So
fair.
yes. Don't look at the Chicago forecast. It's terrifying.
Is it?
Probably.
I mean, I kind of want to look now.
It's January and it's Chicago.
Tell me about the Chicago forecast.
Undrilled barrels ruins the immersion. I'd refuse to play against you if you showed up with that.
Well, you know what? I would refuse to play against you for having such strong opinions about it. So, ha!
Haven't been to sleep, working for a North American company. Their meetings still happen, so I have to attend.
I'm the jerk?
A flute of snow?
A flute? A feute?
Is that an L or an I? Oh, it's an I.
Chicago is screwed. Good luck. Have fun. All right. Gun barrel is drilled.
Who's a real jerk? What'd you say?
I just said that... okay, so hold on. This was in response to this harsh punishment from the Punisher.
Well, I mean, it's in his name, so...
I know. He said he wouldn't... He would sit down and wouldn't play a game with me if I had undrilled gun barrels.
Yep.
And I said, well, I wouldn't want to play against somebody who had that opinion about gun barrels. And then he called me the jerk. I'm
Foot of snow in the northwest suburbs all at once, and then the temps are going to drop like 30 degrees. That's not fun. Do you get to at least just stay in your house? Is that a possibility for you? I would not want to leave. He just did it, Phil. Just now. And he did say he caved. He said that chat convinced him.
I did it. I caved You are right. It is the truth. I have done that.
Well, Awkwardish Panda, it's pretty cold here today, too. It rained earlier. He's trying to get the day off because he works outside. And it's not just an automatic day off. Like, it's something that he has to persuade. He'll likely cancel school.
How many people do you think would come into work here if we got a foot of snow?
Not a single one. I wouldn't.
The funny thing is, I probably could go to work. I just wouldn't be able to get into the building.
Oh.
Because nobody else would be here.
Yeah, no one would be here. Installs phone and internet, essential work. So that, yeah, I guess it is, right? You gotta, that's crazy.
Building up some black primer on this. I have a color scheme in mind for these. Maybe if you were here a couple of weeks ago, you might remember me painting up some of my Solar Auxilia tanks. And I really loved that color scheme. And I would like to try and replicate it on these Guardsman models. I think it will look really, really cool. To figure out where I want to put the color on these guys. But I think it would look very, very, very good. So we're going to try it. I will show that to you in a second once I clear out the airbrush. Of the gunk.
Treebeard, you got a bit of a wait still. Probably like 49 years.
Painting a multicolor chameleon, and I'm thinking how much I need that Pro plaid paint. I mean, it's only going to be plaid if it's in front of plaid things. So you don't have to paint it plaid. If you really don't want to.
Awkwardish Panda, I don't envy the reason why you get to do that, but I do envy your situation of being able to do that. And spend tomorrow wrapped in a blanket. Lovely.
Does sound very nice, to be honest.
Yeah. What I've been doing when I get home.
Huddling up in a blanket because it's so cold. I had to turn the heat on. Couldn't stand it.
Yeah, you do have to use the heat.
I made it like a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah. I'm not waking up like this in the morning.
Yeah.
I can't wake up like this
People
in the morning.
don't believe us. It does get cold. I think he'll be here. He was just catching up on some work. We're super busy right now. Raw tomato, like almost every time. You ever sit down and then realize you have to get right back up? Maybe it's just you and me, Wad.
All right. I put this back there. And then we're going to get this ball rolling. All right. So, for reference on what the original color palette was, we got this really cool, like drab gray brown. That I'm going to use. And then we've got this really nice dark red. And then I'm going to do black for the accenting color. And I think I'm going to make them Trader Guard, is my plan. But before we do all of that, I'm going to paint this guy's face. And then because we're going to start from the inside out. So starting with the face first, let me paint everything around it. So, I'm going to start with dark plum. Because I want this to be kind of like a dark and dreary kind of feel. I'm going to start with a dark and dreary warm color. build some of that warmth and life into the model.
James Dilly wants to know if this guy is a giant.
This guy is a giant? He is not a giant. He is, in fact, a standard human from the 40k universe.
Also, Treebeard tells you all that he's painting a chameleon, a thing he didn't even tell his friend. Oh, he was right next to that tank, and he looked very large.
Oh, this guy? Well, remember, if you...
he does look like a giant next to that tank.
He is a giant. Different scale, different game.
Or the tank is really far away.
Yeah. Look.
It's so far away.
Dollar.
It makes more sense now. It just is very far away, tank.
Spitfire, thanks for the bits.
Baby J cheats at 40k epic. Indeed.
And also that whatever comment, I don't know if you chose to share that streak or if it just decided
that
Twitch just decided that when you made that comment, it needed to also announce that you were on a 40 stream streak.
That's awesome.
That is dedication.
That is awesome.
I don't even think that I am on a 40 stream streak.
I'm not. Because I was gone for the holidays.
Yeah.
I am not.
Oh, so you shared it. Okay, gotcha.
All right, we're mixing a little bit of advanced flush tone here. Or a lot of advanced flush tone, actually. We're going to make it pretty thin. We're going to build up thin layers of this.
That means the two of us have balance in life. Just part of your balance. Part of your daily balanced diet.
We're just painting this on. I'm going to probably be taking these guys with me to the show to show off and paint while I'm there.
Ghost Hunter, you are first.
Gotta get this side of his face. The downside of being left-handed is getting to the left-sided things of all of these models is always a pain in the butt. Alright, so we're gonna let that dry. Lefty, that explains a lot. Be careful, Megalodon. Jason is also a lefty.
Lefties out here.
It's true. Do we have anybody else who works for us who's a lefty? That you know of?
I think a few.
I think so too. I just don't remember who it is. I feel like Jabe or Jillip will come in here and let us know. They'll pull the tallies.
Ghost Hunter said you could turn the model over.
Is Shelby a lefty?
I don't think Shelby is.
Yeah. Haha. D20 Geek OCD. Hello, everyone. And my father used to say left-handed people are the only ones in their right minds. Nice. James Rum.
He must have been a lefty.
Jamesy Rum. Left-handed. Awesome. Very good.
Lefty and
he was
crotchy.
also lefty. There's a reason for the whole left-handed paintbrush gag.
We We have to really think about it, Phil, when Jason and I go out.
It affects a lot of things.
Yeah.
It affects where you sit at
Well,
a table.
That's what Phil just said. Is as long as I don't have to eat dinner next to a lefty on my right side, I am in full support of the people with the left persuasion. Left-handed, not in my right mind. So that tracks. Oh, right-handed, not in my right mind. Not in my right mind. Jason is also has his hearing in his left ear is not as good as on his right.
Yep.
Which works well when he's left-handed. So I just stay on his right side.
Yep. Except
I'm out of
it
his
works less good when I'm on his left side in the studio.
Well, yeah.
But he started it. He gets to pick where he sits or stands in this case. A lack of yellow in my left eye? What?
Is that like Jason having limited hearing in his left ear?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I don't know how that works. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
I don't know all of the technicalities of
Can't
vision.
help you. We are not going to be able to help you here with your left-handedness. Alrighty. I am liking where this is going. Keep on building this up a little bit at a time. I should have painted this guy's head off of this model. This arm is driving me. In no uncertain terms.
It's not Malifaux, right?
This is not Malifaux. No. This is a 40K
40K
commander from a Acadian command squad. He's one of these guys. Technically, it's this model, but I built them different. So, we got all these other tools that we need to build as well.
It's Canadian?
Yep, Canadian command squad.
Wait, Treebeard. That's not a real thing, is it? You're making me question this.
What?
Treebeard said that I see a lack of yellow in my left eye. It's okay. I close my left eye to see what colors really look like, but game delay does dress in yellow to hide from me.
It's
true.
true.
You can hide from Treebeard if you dress in yellow.
That's funny.
So, does the yellow, like, does it make, like, the clothes invisible? Like,
we must have more information.
I need to know. But he really does see less yellow with his left eye. A tint difference. Central serous retinopathy. I had no idea. I mean, I know that color blindness is a thing, obviously. I didn't know that in one eye you could.
Oh yeah,
there could be a different, like where you don't see.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of people have it worse in one eye than another.
Thing, less yellow in his left eye.
Tis common.
Yeah, does it appear more gray? Or is it just not as vibrant? Do you know it's yellow? Well, obviously, if that's the only color, and well, but I have so many questions. I don't even know how to ask them. This is fascinating.
Where's Grumbly Dumpus when you need him?
Is he an eye doctor?
Yeah, he's an optometrist. Yeah.
He was here yesterday.
I know. So I'm like, he usually pops in.
Summon him. A bright yellow can look like dim yellow or almost white.
Interesting.
So if you see a dim yellow, then you just know it's supposed to be a brighter yellow, because
But it could also
if
just be
it's
dim.
dim,
yellow.
like if it's originally a dim yellow, then you wouldn't see that.
Greens look more blue.
Oranges look more red. Just in the one eye. But how does that work when you have both eyes open?
I'm sure it's confusing. I'm sure it's confusing.
This is fascinating. Sorry for all the questions, but I could probably talk to you about this for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, Jen's like, I'm gonna ask eye questions for the next hour.
Both eyes work together so it partially compensates. Yeah, that's what I would think.
And truly, where the heck is Scrumbly Dumpus?
Yeah.
When we need him? The one day where we're talking about eye stuff.
Central serous retinopathy. What we need to ask him about. Or I could just Google it and probably find out some.
We should just call his office and be like,
we're live on stream. Can you
we have a
please
question
explain this to us?
for Dr. Gilpar.
You can see yellow, but it gets more intense if you close the left eye. Okay. And Game Delay said the crazy thing is Treebeard literally paints toy prototypes for a living and is an expert in color. So it's like someone with perfect pitch having that pitch go sharp.
Is this
Me
a
too,
recent
James.
thing?
I'm like, I have so many questions.
Is this recent, Treebeard, or is this always been like
Yeah,
this?
that's a good question. And did it come on suddenly? If it's not, like, was it something you were born with? Or did it come on as a result of something? At least 10 years.
10 years, wow. That's a long time.
It happened a year ago. Also, we've been friends a year. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's crazy. So, was it like a gradual thing? Sorry.
I love how fascinated you are by this,
Yeah,
Jen. It's great.
James Siram is too, because he keeps asking questions too, and said, "I'm sorry, I'm too curious for my own good," and I am too. And Treebeard, you don't have to if you don't want to talk about it. You don't have to, because I can surely Google it.
We can phone a professional later.
Yeah. Well, like my friend thought, like she was told that she had glaucoma, and it was because she'd been having some trouble with her vision, and like was seeing like having dark spots come up, and had really hard time seeing out of one of her eyes at night, almost completely blind at night.
Oh.
And so she went to have some tests done and things like that, and they told her she had glaucoma. She's very young for glaucoma. Like that's something that is not common in people who are like 50 years. So that was unusual, and I also think it's more common in men. But they gave her these eye drops that were very expensive, like $900 for a tiny little thing of eye drops. And,
oh my gosh.
And she started using them, and it was like, I don't know that if anything's happening. It doesn't seem to be getting worse, but I don't know that they're doing anything. She went and got a second opinion, and they said, no, you don't have glaucoma, actually. Like, you don't even have any signs of glaucoma.
What the heck?
So it was just a misdiagnosis.
Very expensive one.
Yeah. But they said, the stuff you've done hasn't harmed anything, but it was completely unnecessary.
God. I would have been so mad.
Yeah. And then unrelated, she did also find out that she has an aneurysm, which doesn't really affect her vision, but...
it's not good, though.
No, it's not good.
that is not good.
Yeah.
At least they figured that out. Yeah,
Hello,
it was funny.
Panic Bomb.
So I went to visit Scrumbly Dumpus, was one of the people who I stayed with when I was in Seattle. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. And he was on call during the weekend where I was visiting, and he was like, usually it's fine. They don't usually call me that often. If I get called, it may be for like once. He got called 6 times over the weekend.
Just like
6 times.
wrapping paper accidents, like
Just
people
the craziest things. I mean, he
poking
didn't obviously he
themselves in
couldn't
the
tell me
eye.
anything about it, but
Yeah.
you know, he was just like, yeah, it's just the craziest things will happen at the weirdest times,
Yeah.
and you know,
Well, 'cause,
sometimes
you wouldn't think that there's like a big need for emergency ophthalmologists, right? You know,
Well, he's not an ophthalmologist; he's an optometrist.
Optometrist,
which
okay.
is a different.
well, isn't optometrist the one that just tests your vision? The
Uh,
ophthalmologist
they
is more of the
so
disease
an
of the eye?
ophthalmologist, as far as I understand, is an ocular surgeon.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
But they deal with more like
diseases of the eye and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Disorders.
yeah. Well, I mean, optometrists deal with a lot of that stuff too, but they're more in tune with like the vision, and they
Right.
don't do a lot of like constructive
Right.
stuff.
So he's not doing like glaucoma stuff. I mean, they do the
No.
glaucoma test though when you get your eyes
Yes,
checked,
yeah.
but they're not treating it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do a lot of different types of treatment. There are things that you'll go to an optometrist for that you wouldn't go to an ophthalmologist for,
Interesting.
and vice versa. But ophthalmologists are typically the ones who do a lot more of the like in-depth, like we gotta fix your eyes
Mhm.
sort of thing. But yeah, it's crazy. There was one, he got called at like 10. He's like, I gotta go in to see this one. He was like, this one I gotta go in and see. And I was like, don't worry about it, man. It's
Interesting.
fine. You gotta go save somebody's eyeballs.
Yeah.
And you know,
Central serous retinopathy is a thinning of the wall of the retina that allows fluid to pass through, causing a bubble. Distorts vision. The bubble subsided. I was left with the color distortion, supposedly brought on by stress. I feel like, I mean, it sounds similar to glaucoma, right? Because isn't glaucoma also a thinning of the...
it's brought on by
Retina?
stress. That's weird.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, eyeballs are weird.
On vacation when it happened.
I gotta flip this model upside down. We're getting into trying to paint some eyeballs and stuff.
Fascinating. Thank you, Treebeard, for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Sorry for bombarding you with all the questions.
It's funny. I'm gonna text him after I get home today. I'm gonna be like, "You missed out. We were talking about eyeballs."
We talked about your stuff.
He's such an eyeball nerd too.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing. It's like, you know, it's like me and talking about painting and stuff. You have to be interested in it to really like get it.
Yeah.
And he like nerds the heck out on eyeballs.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
funny. He has like pictures of eyeballs like on his wall at his
Yeah.
house. It's funny. Yeah, he's funny. He's a nice guy. And a good doctor.
My friend who has the aneurysm, she had a procedure done where they were trying to learn more about it, and it was like not really an MRI, but maybe kind of like an MRI, but they had to do an incision and go through that artery that goes all the way up and into your brain, and used contrast, and the picture she showed looked really cool. I mean, it's obviously it showed just all the different, you know, parts of her brain, and then just one little part was circled where you could see it, but the overall picture itself looked really neat because it was like kind of glowy and neon looking, and
of her brain.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they it's interesting how much like one of the things that he's mentioned is like you'd be surprised how often like they catch things like cancer and like aneurysms and stuff like that from eye related stuff. Is very common.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well,
I had
'cause
no
most
idea that
people
you
don't-
dealt with that kind of stuff.
No, and most people don't know they have it. Like, so she was having problems with her vision, and she was having headaches,
Yeah.
and they thought it was glaucoma, but she said that most people, you know, there's no standard test for an aneurysm. Most people have them and don't know about it.
Right.
But hers was discovered because of this. In her office, there's like, I don't know, maybe 10 people in her office, and she said 3 of them, she and 2 other people have aneurysms, and the other 2 also was just kind of coincidental that they were discovered. Like that's crazy
That's wild.
because
Yeah.
it's a small percentage of people who actually have them too.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, the funny thing is, like most of the like most of the weird eye stuff that I have been told that can happen is like super innocuous. Like it
Yeah.
would just happen to you while you're like
yeah.
strolling
well, like
around.
Treebeard was on vacation.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
all of a
like
sudden, you
nothing's
can't see
happening with
yellow.
your eye. You're not, doing anything with your eyes. You're not, getting anything in your eyes. It's just like all of a sudden your eye, like eyesight out of one of your eyes gets really blurry.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And
Sapo 57. Am I the only one that's grossed out by eyes?
I think they're really cool. But I'm also interested in like, I tend to be very interested in things that I don't know a lot about. So like, if somebody like tells me an interesting factoid, I'm like, ooh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So like when Jake, Scrumbly Dumpus, his name is Jake. When he nerds out on eyeballs, I get like super interested.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's super cool. That's really fascinating.
Yes, because when
Yeah.
you think about it, I kind of take them for granted. I meant to, if I didn't say most people who have aneurysms don't know it, that's what I really meant.
Yeah.
If you BRB, you need to pick up my glasses.
I'm the optometrist.
And Jason is, feeling better. Yes.
He just got
He
a
should
cough.
be here. He's got caught up doing some other things, but I expect that he'll be here soon. Fire Arc, hello.
I think Jason
Having a very
got
intense eye conversation right now.
Yeah. I think Jason got the same sickness that I had back in, or something very similar back in like June, July,
I don't
where
think
I
it's
was
the same
coughing.
one.
Huh?
It was a long time for that.
Well, I
but-
mean, it's probably a similar type of
Oh,
thing, right?
yeah.
But like, I also was coughing for a very long time after I felt completely better.
Mhm. Well, he doesn't feel completely better, but
Oh, he doesn't.
Feels-
Okay.
mostly better.
Well, I hope he feels better soon. I don't like seeing people sick. It makes me sad. Because I wouldn't want that on them. Because it sucks. Alright, so we got this face sort of roughed out. Got the eye sockets darkened up. We put a little bit of brightness in there. Making a little bit of kind of like a creamy skin tony color. Your eyes are not actually completely white. So making like an off-white kind of cream color with a little bit of redness to it is always a good plan when you're painting eyeballs. Pardon me if I'm being a little quiet while I do this. I tend to try and focus really hard when I'm doing eyeballs so I don't mess them up. One of those like hold your breath and focus sort of things. Find it lets me get a nice, more consistent application on the eyeball. Alright, I might have to do one of the other techniques that I like to do when I paint eyes is if I get a little bit of the paint on where the skin tone is, I'll go back in, I'll mix some black into the skin tone that I'm using, and then I'll go and shape where I want the eye to end, like right above the cheekbones. Just to reshape that whole eye. And then I'll go back in with my actual skin tone and highlight skin tone colors. And I will paint back to get you a nice dark line underneath where the white is. So you end up having, like if I were to paint white here, and I were to go over the outline, right? Let's say this is an eye, and have a nice like dark line on the top, but I went over a little bit. I'd come back with the skin tone, a little bit of black, and I'd basically just carve this back in like that, and then I'll go back in with the regular skin tone color over that, and I'll get a nice dark line around the eye again.
Did you answer Ghost Hunter why you're painting the face first?
Oh, I answered it a little bit earlier, but I can explain it again. So I'm painting the face first because it tends to be a little bit harder to get to, especially with this arm in the way. So typically with things like that, where they're hard to reach places and they're small and they're kind of in other things are covering them a little bit, those are the parts that I like to paint first. I like refer to it as painting from the inside out. You paint all the things that are harder to reach first, and then you paint the easier to reach things after. Because if you mess up and you get paint on like the helmet, I'm going to paint the helmet afterwards. So if I get some skin tone on there, I can repaint the helmet on top of it, and I don't have to do a lot of extra work. If I had painting the helmet, or if I'm painting the skin after I paint the helmet, and I get skin tone onto the helmet, then I have to go back and I have to repaint that part of the helmet. So I paint the stuff that's easier to not mess up on first.
Gabe wants to know if heavy warm white would be good for eyes.
I'm actually using heavy warm white. I'm mixing heavy warm white plus a little bit of advanced flush and a touch of black to make it a little bit more gray.
Jason says that you should use never white. But
That's
you
why I'm
should
mixing
use-
other colors
yeah,
into it.
but that you should use like the brightest highlight on the skin.
You could do that too.
I think that's how he does it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of the color that I'm making with this. Now we're going to paint the skin tone back over the cheekbones to bring that brightness back. There we go. That looks better. Unfortunately, we don't have a punch in. Otherwise, you'd be able to see this a lot better. It's the only downside with these smaller models is that they are hard to see some of the stuff that I'm painting over here.
Phil said, I do this thing where I just don't paint the eyes. It saves me tons of time.
I don't blame you. Eyes are the worst.
Hello, Chuck. A lot of people will put a varnish over the face just in case too before painting the outside bits. But I mean, that doesn't mean that paint still can't get on it.
Right.
Game Delay said, in my January challenge, I've discovered that the eye I painted is looking slightly lower than I want it to. I'm finishing the rest of the model before I consider repainting it. Sigh.
Been there. Don't
Firework
worry.
Doesn't paint eyes either.
I have been there. Do not worry, Game Delay. I have repainted eyes so many times. So many times. And I don't blame anybody who decides that they don't want to paint some eyeballs. Finishing highlighting the lips and a little bit on the tip of the chin. This guy's got pretty broad jaw, so we're going to put a little bit of a highlight on the bottom part, which we're going to blend out a touch. Maybe soften with a slightly darker mix here. There we go. Much better. Cool. So I think I'm going to put a couple of dots on this guy's eyeballs, and then we're going to be done with the face. Then we can move on to other things, like the jacket. Brush has just one slightly longer hair. I'm also doing this with a very large brush, which is oftentimes a little bit difficult to do.
Well, I mean, Adepticon, I think, is a nerd get-together.
One of the biggest ones in the States.
Fireark is holding, it said I'm holding my breath while Jordan puts the dots on.
Good enough. Good enough. Doesn't look like he's looking in two different directions at once, and that is all that matters to me. All right, gonna clean up the helmet. We got nice, crisp, clean lines. And now we can move on. Might do a little bit of adjustments with some glazes later, but that's probably 90% done right there.
He does know that there are smaller brushes, but I feel like he doesn't feel like he needs them.
Not usually.
You got a good point.
Not usually. Okay. Oh, I do have the recipe somewhere around here, but not for the armor. Ah, Jordan, you goofball. You goofball. You do this to yourself every time. Where is my brown gray? Right there.
Chat just standing in front of the monument booth shouting random stuff like they do here. That kind of is how it works.
Not too far off.
Wad said, party in my room at Adepticon. Gonna make it one big pillow fort.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that sounds fun.
They order like,
Kinda
can I
sad
get
I'm
an
gonna
extra
miss
100 pillows delivered to my hotel room,
I need
please?
some extra pillows. Yeah, how many? Like 50, 100 maybe?
Yeah.
Whatever you can spare.
I wonder if they would do it.
I'm sure not. Like, yeah, that exceeds our inventory of pillows.
I don't know. It's Vegas though, so.
No, this is Adepticon.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, no, probably not. At Vegas, you might be able to get away with it. Who knows? It's Vegas.
I mean, I think things are like any kind of weird thing is acceptable in Vegas.
Yeah.
Phil's like, I'll be there. I'll join in on the heckling just from behind the booth.
Yeah. He's gonna like, people come up to talk to me, and he's like, I need to step out of the booth for a minute. And he just starts talking to me from behind the booth. Not to give you any ideas, Philip.
Yeah, no such thing as weird in Vegas. Who's your favorite heckling double agent, and why is it Phil?
It's
I'll
always
walk
Phil.
by every so often and ask why Schlebby isn't there. She might be there, though. She's going to LVO.
Yeah, Schlubby will be at LVO.
I don't know if we know all of the Adepticon crew yet. We know the standards: Jordan, Gabe, Philip. But I'm not sure if we know anyone else yet. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. But I also don't know for 100% certainty, so. Alright, I gotta figure out what the heck I was using for the highlight color on this. What was I doing? Painting all this gray. Man, do I love brown gray though. Brown gray is awesome. Got that nice little bit of earthiness to it. Makes it feel like whatever you're painting is a little bit lived in, which is very cool. At gray 2. Alrighty. And I'm going to kind of place some colors on here to see if I like them. So we're going to start with some burnt red. J Nick 2369 looking for any tips. I'm getting back into the modeling thing and I have noticed I have an irritating shake when I'm painting fine details. I'm assuming you mean shake. Thank you for the follow. So typically if your hands are shaking, I like to support my hands as best as possible. So you'll notice a lot that I'll use my pinky to brace my hand against the model holder when I'm using my brush, so I'm able to get a really nice sturdy. And if I'm trying to do this, my hand's going to be moving around a lot more.
Hey,
so bracing your hand against something, putting pressure down on it, will help keep your muscles from jittering about quite as much. So I'd try that.
Do you use any kind of model holder? Because the one Jordan has is just a big
it's just
chunk
a piece
of a thing. But I know that there are some that have like a
yeah, they have a big thing that
comes up the
like
top
this.
that you can rest your hands on. And
those I don't particularly like, just because I find it hard to, do this kind of thing. I like to really get a really solid brace. So I'll scoot this out so you guys can see. So I'll brace my my palm against the bottom of this thing, and I'll brace my pinky against this, and I'll paint like this. Right? So I have 2 points of stabilization for my hand, And I'm only moving these 3 fingers when I'm painting.
Ghost Hunter saying remember to breathe is actually like a key, and then be mindful too of how tightly you're gripping your paintbrush, because that can definitely cause it as well.
Yeah. Too loose or too tight will
and
cause
yeah
problems.
If you can brace your arms, your forearms on a table. So Jason, who's not here right now, and Jordan is standing up right now painting.
Yep.
We have standing painting desks that we use, which help provide a lot of support as well on your forearms without requiring you to like lean forward and round your shoulders and all those things that just contribute to your discomfort while you're painting.
Yep. My elbows are braced on the table right now. Yeah, let us know how it goes. Alright. Base coat this chest piece in red.
But also, I am going back and reading your initial question again, and the fact that you're saying that it's when you're painting the fine details, really, again, think about how tightly you're holding the brush. You might find that that's it right there.
I think that this red is going to look really cool. I'm going to darken it up and make it a little bit more beat up. Put a little bit of scratches on it. And this will dry a bit darker than what it looks like right now. But I really like this accent color in this palette. I get the other shoulder pad with it. That color test is good.
Hey, G to John. Welcome in. Oh, sorry to hear you're having a rough day.
Sorry. Hopefully.
But yeah, hopefully this will get your mind off
better,
things.
Yeah. We are here to do our best to improve everyone's day, one model at a time. Also, one poop joke at a time.
I was just gonna say that. I was literally just gonna say that. Although we've been called out on our follow through on the poop jokes. We don't really tell a lot of those. Or was it fart jokes? I don't remember. Somebody called us out.
How many people who need to take poop does it take to screw in a light bulb? Here's my bad joke.
If I were a dessert, what dessert would I be?
Oh, this is the Schlebby question.
It's a Schlebby question. It almost sounds like a Jacob question. But maybe Jacob is rubbing off on Schlebby a little bit. Did she ask you? What did you say?
I didn't really give her a full answer, to be honest.
I am my own woman. Yes, you are.
What did I say? I think tiramisu is probably a good one. Oh, I remember what I told her. I said Oreo shake.
An Oreo shake.
Mm.
All right.
That was just me spitballing
Just
out
saying.
of nowhere.
So yeah, my first instinct without even thinking is cheesecake. I don't know why. That's just the first thing I thought.
Yep. What's the first thing that just jumps out of
And
your
I
brain?
feel like that might be the right answer. Is the first one that comes into your mind. You're a cannoli. See, cannoli is just a fun one to say.
I've never had a
And
cannoli.
it's delicious. You haven't?
Mm-mm.
Oh god.
So I can't call it as my own if I've never
That's
partaken.
true. That's true. Trying to think of
What flavor of donut am I?
I'm trying to think of where you could get a good cannoli. I think there's a little Italian deli that probably has a good one. Oh, so that Shelby's what flavor of donut am I question came from Ghost Hunter, who said if you woke up one day and were a donut, would you eat yourself? And then
Depends on the donut.
I think that, I think she's saying it depends on the flavor.
Depending on the donut, I might take a little bit of a nibble. In a pinch, a little hungry. I'm just building up some opacity with this red here. Using burnt red from our base set. It's a great, really nice dark red to use. That'll get you pretty good coverage compared to bold pyro red, which honestly still gives you pretty good coverage. But starts you off in a little bit of a darker place than the bold pyro red would.
Shelby said if I'm a white frosted donut with Oreo crumbles, I'm for sure munching. Oh, has this not been asked yet? What's your favorite dessert and why is it Phil?
Yeah.
Phil is not just dessert.
You know what? Phil is delightful, okay? Yeah. Phil is a delightful human being.
He can be everyone's favorite.
He can. We went to the gym yesterday.
Oh yeah, how was it?
It was great.
Is it a good place? Nice place?
Oh, it's super nice. Yeah, it's super nice. It's I'll put it this way. It's huge. It is so big,
really?
In fact. Yeah, when we walked in, we probably saw 2 dozen, 3 dozen people walking either in and out of the gym. Just like walking in from the parking lot in and out. Which is a lot of people. Like that's 24 to 36 people. That is a lot of people. We got in and there was space for us to get equipment.
Seriously? Is it multiple levels?
No, it's just one very, very, very large space.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's the one right on Central, right? By the mall?
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine where all that space
Central
could fit.
and Osborne. It's between Osborne and Thomas.
Yeah, north of Osborne. Yeah,
it's right next to that. Next to Jimmy John's
Park
is
Central
next to
Mall,
that. Yeah. Is that called Park Central, you said?
Park Central Mall, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It used to be like a full-on shopping mall.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, most of the stores have closed, as malls have done.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize it was like a big mall. I've only ever been to that like little segment of it.
It's been, it's probably from like the 60s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, we took it pretty light. We did 3 exercises yesterday. He made sure that he didn't want to like push too much because I didn't want to hurt myself, which is great.
Right. Yeah.
He also didn't want to hurt himself either because he's going back to the gym for the first time in a while. So,
1957 it opened as a mall.
1957? Holy cow.
The mall. So yeah, all the stuff that's closest to Central is brand new, obviously.
Wow.
Like the Starbucks and the Jimmy John's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the back, like where the First Watch is and the Zips, that's all part of the original mall.
Oh, wow.
That was built in 1957.
I've literally never been to any part of that.
Oh. I think it's mostly offices now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That was always
restaurants.
kind of my assumption as to what it was.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like office stuff like that. So, but yeah, no, we went. It was great. We did 3 workouts. We worked mostly chest and shoulders. And yeah, it went really, really well. I like going to the gym. My problem has always been that I have a hard time like it's weird that I get social anxiety in this way, but like I definitely like get anxious about going to the gym by myself because I'm not confident in what I
Sure.
am doing.
Yeah.
Luckily, Phil is a lot more knowledgeable than I am. He knows what to do.
Yep.
He knows all the exercises. He knows all the equipment. So it's
That's
great for me to
awesome.
go with somebody who knows what they're doing and can
Good
be like,
resource.
hey, you should do this and
Yeah.
rotate your arms like this so you engage these muscle groups, etc.
Yep.
So I am very, 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 very thankful to have Phil around. So, you guys, Phil, you're awesome.
That is awesome.
I love you.
love
Thank
it.
you. And he had a good time. He was stoked.
Good.
He was really excited about
Yeah.
it. So, yeah.
Good
Well,
deal.
great investment. We're gonna be going two times a week, I think,
Nice.
for right now, and then we're gonna probably bump it up later.
Yeah. Ease back into it.
Ease back into
like
it. Yeah.
we were talking about it yesterday. There's so many people who just like think that they have to go hardcore immediately, and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
the-
Because
not
I was
the
like, man,
case.
I feel great. I could go to the gym
Uh,
today.
Exactly, and I'm lazy, and so I like to. That's why I just work out on my own.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
I know that nobody cares about what I'm doing. Nobody's watching me.
Yeah,
doing
no.
my own thing, and
that was one of the
yeah.
things that I really liked about that gym too, was that I felt like everybody was just there to work out.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like people were like
Yeah.
being weird.
Exactly.
It just felt like a really like it had a good environment. You know, when
Yeah.
you go to a place and you're like, this kind of feels kind of weird, and you
That's
just get a
most
weird
gyms for
vibe.
me.
Yeah.
The last gym that I belonged to, it was nice, and I would go. I mean, this was when I was teaching, so I would go like after school or stuff. But in the summertime, I would go first thing in the morning because my preference, if I'm going to do any kind of exercise, is to do it before I have to do anything else. Because, like, working out after work is really difficult for me because it's too easy for me to be like, nah, I'm just gonna go home. But so I would go in the morning in the summertime when I was not teaching
Mm-hmm.
and get on the treadmill and just watch people. And there were groups of women that would just do laps, not laps like for exercise purposes, but laps to be seen and to
Oh,
walk
God.
around and to talk to each other. You know, and they would be in their little matching outfits, and
So
they would
weird.
be just walking around the gym looking at people, and they would stand and stop and talk to each other. And I'm like, are you gonna do any kind of exercise, or is
Yeah.
this just social exercise for you?
Yep.
So
Which is
that's
weird that
one of
that
the
would-
things
you
I
would do that at a
cannot
gym.
stand about gyms.
Yeah.
Is people who just use it as like the scene.
Yep. Well, and I think the nice thing is when we went, it definitely felt like everybody was just like, we got here after work.
Yeah,
We're getting our exercise in,
Yeah.
and we go home for the night.
that's what
sort
it
of thing.
should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So it was great.
Yeah.
Age John, no, I did not. I'm painting this all over a black base coat.
Exactly. I mean, and it worked. Obviously, that they were getting their exercise somewhere. Maybe, I don't know.
Somewhere maybe not at all. Who knows?
If they look good in an outfit, you know,
That's so funny
put
to
it
me.
on and walk around.
Yeah.
Yeah, gyms have always been weird for me.
I think it's just tough. I think everybody finds comfort in
Yeah.
those things in different ways.
Exactly.
And,
It's like painting minis. Doing it in private lets me avoid all the social anxiety about doing it wrong. Going to a painting gym would have been too stressful. Yeah.
yeah.
Seriously.
I think the thing for me is, and I'm sure that there are plenty of like gym people who are like this, but like I love to see people improve and I love to help people.
Yeah.
So like, it's great for me to be able to interact with somebody in person. This is part of the reason why I love going to shows so much. Is I get all these people who come up and they're like, "Show me how to do this thing.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with this so long," and I can literally just pull out a model and be like, "You do this,
Yeah.
you do this, and you do this. See how easy that is?" And they're like, "Oh my god, that is so easy. I'm gonna go home and do that right now,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna go back up to my room and I'm gonna try this right now."
Yep.
And it's that like light bulb moment that that a lot of people call it, where you see the light bulb go on in their head and they're like,
Mhm.
"Woo!" And then it's just perfect, right? So I love to be able to give that to people. So
Build a gym at Monument Hobbies.
I mean, we kind of did.
It's
We just got
you can
everybody to
practically
go to that
walk
gym.
to it.
You can walk to it from here. It's
Yeah,
not
you
that far.
no, I know. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's like it's probably less than a mile.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
because it's only 3 blocks, and then maybe it's like a mile
Yeah, and those 3 blocks are like really short. Between here and
from
Central
here
is
in
like
Central.
it feels like almost 1 block,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird. Now that I think about it, because it is really, really, really narrow.
It's 3. I mean, we'll hit second and first.
I guess.
If you go up straight up this street up here, there's a street to turn.
Just feels short to me.
It is. 3 blocks is not very far.
I don't know. 3 blocks in New York is pretty far. City blocks are, I guess, different. Maybe, depending on where you go. Either way, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
I had a good time. Bill had a good time.
Good.
Which is a good sign. All signs point to getting healthy.
Good.
Having a good time. It's one of the great ironies of aging that I grow more confident in my own body and I look less good in little outfits.
Because you just don't care anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't care.
there's the benefit of not caring anymore.
Yeah. Phil also helped Shelby get back into the gym. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm really
Shelby
excited.
goes a lot after work,
Mm-hmm.
which, again, admire people who
Go
have that
after work?
energy.
You go after work?
Yes. I don't want to
Yeah.
do anything after work except go home.
That's fair. You guys also work a lot more than we do, though. Because I know Jason
Just
stays
different
until
work.
like
Jason-
7.
No, not always. It just depends on what he has to do.
Yeah. Put a pull-up bar at Monument Hobbies. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of us did sign up back in November. I think
I remember Ruben went. I think
Ruben-
Jacob, right?
it was Ruben, Brennan, myself, Carter, Philip, tangentially with me. He was like, "I'll wait until you guys go, and then I'll sign up." So when I was like, "We're going today," he was like, "Cool, I'll sign up on lunch."
Oh,
And he signed up.
so he just signed up yesterday.
Yeah, he literally
Oh,
signed
cool.
up yesterday. Yeah. We were like, "Hey, you should sign up early so you can get the better deal." He's like, "I don't care. I'm just gonna cancel my other one and just move it." And so yeah, we I think it was just us. Although I am gonna put together like a little group Discord for us, so I can be like, "Hey, if anybody wants to go to the gym, I'm going on this day," and people can be like, "Oh, that sounds great. Let's do it." Because I'm too much of a social butterfly to want to do that solo.
Shelby, I'm the same. And I try. Like, I set my alarm to get up every day. And I never do it.
And I never do it.
I'm like, nope, not today. Especially now when it's cold and dark. The dog doesn't even want to get up.
It's cold. Man, it is really cold in the
Yeah.
mornings. Like, to the point that, like, I don't want to walk to work in the mornings right now.
Ghost Hunter, I am with you. I can do a day thing. I can do a night thing. I absolutely cannot do a day and a night thing on the same day. I will generally find an excuse.
I will generally
Like,
find an excuse.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I can get there in time. Sorry.
So we're mixing in a little bit of Bold Power Red to the burnt red, and we're throwing some subtle highlights onto the red armor plates, just to bring them up a touch, get them a little bit brighter than they were. Kind of knocking this back up. Getting these areas on the shoulder. Top of the shoulder pad. that shoulder pad. I'm not being too worried about getting super smooth blends here. But it just brings it up a little bit, makes it easier to read. Might throw another layer on here. Brighten it up a touch more. Perfect. Alright, now we gotta figure out what we want to do with the cloak. Or the jacket. Because we need to get it to this color. I gotta remember what I used. Because I don't remember what I used. I think I gave a dry brush of olive flesh now that I think about it. Let me try mixing this in with the gray.
So yeah, the running is hard for me to understand.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Thank you for that follow.
Thank you for the follow.
That's a long name. Oegorova Plavdiasius.
I think that was a pretty good attempt.
You know,
That's pretty good.
hooked on phonics works for me. Dry brush of olive flesh just makes me think you're exfoliating.
Yeah.
Never seen a runner that seems to be having a good time. They all look kind of miserable. My friend's husband is a marathon runner, and
Oh, jeez.
I don't understand it.
I don't understand it. How do you do this? There's some wizardry at foot here.
I was years ago at like in the vicinity of the finish line of an Ironman triathlon,
Oh gosh.
and that was
Eye-opening.
insane.
Yeah.
These people come running in, and I was concerned about many of them.
Really?
Yeah, they did not look healthy.
Oh,
Like they
gosh.
did not look well. And and I know that there are things, so like there was some of them had stuff like, I don't know if it's like a powder or if maybe it's something to absorb sweat or something that was just all over their bodies, and it was like this gray material.
Weird.
Like not material like fabric, but like a powder of some sort.
Huh.
And I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good. Like you don't look healthy. And then just the like they're running, because the last part is the running part.
Yeah.
But they were just barely moving. I'm like, oh my goodness, this just does not look fun.
Ugh. Yeah, that's rough. I don't know if I could do that. Don't know if I could do that.
Like a deep muscle massage, it feels good when you finish. It's never felt good for me to finish running. I mean, I feel good to be done. Like I don't have to do that again. But no, I don't get that soothing feeling like after, or a relaxed feeling I don't get from running at all. It's more of like misery as I try to catch my breath. Yeah, a runner's high. I've never experienced that. Not that I don't believe it exists. It just is not a thing for me.
I mean, it's the same
But
thing
more
with
power
like
to you.
going to the gym. Like, I don't know, I felt great after the gym yesterday, and I worked my butt off. It's just the endorphins, right? When you're running, you just have that pump is turned on for a long time.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're trying a little bit of light umber here as a highlight, mixed with a little bit of the brown gray. And we're going to try the olive flesh maybe on top of it. Felt like it was just a little too cool. Wanted to keep it in that warmer. Oh, sorry.
Running really helps me work through a bad period of depression. I don't know if I enjoyed it, but I did it and it worked. I mean, that's the thing, is that if you can find something that distracts you or that you can commit to, that's my problem with a lot of it, is that if I don't like it, I'm not going to force myself to do it. I'm way too stubborn.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not fun. Not doing it. And that's why I do yoga.
I mean, that's good though. You have a thing.
I have a thing.
And yoga is great for you. So there are a lot of very positive things that come about from doing yoga.
Yeah. No goats. The regular kind. Definitely no hot.
Maybe we start with this as the base color. I think we start with this as the base. A little bit more brown. We can shade with a darker version of the gray to build up recesses. This is also a really cool color. If you've not mixed light umber and brown gray together, it is a really, really cool color. And remember, when I mix these things, usually I'm mixing them in roughly 50-50 mixes. So. Oh yeah. The brown in this, definitely way better. And it looks really good with the red. It complements that kind of dark red a lot better. And then with this, we can probably go... What's a good color? A little too pink. I was thinking like a beige red, perhaps. Or maybe we'll try... Khaki's a little bit... Khaki could work here. The green in the khaki will definitely work pretty well with the light brown, I think. Or light umber. Excuse me. This is how I kind of like to experiment with a lot of these color palettes, is I'll mix a color and I'll try something out until I find something that really works for me from a color palette perspective. And then once I get that recipe mixed and figured out, then it's all steam ahead. We get a whole bunch of models done. Yeah, that looks cool. And then I think my final highlight on top of this will probably be something that tries to build in a lot of texture. So some of that kind of like crackly, cracking leather type feel.
Ghost Hunter, we don't have an olive drab. No.
Nope. Hello! What's going on, Jade?
Hey Jade, how's your hair?
Oh yeah, how's your hair? Did it turn out perfect?
Perfectly purple.
Ghost Hunter. Where is the Wadtomaton? Thank you for the follow. Jaquade, Mitri.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Yeah, yep, uh-huh. That one. Jen got that one before I did.
I mean, why not? You've requested plaid.
Yeah, you guys can
Of course you
request
can request
whatever
olive
you
drab.
want. Whether or not you will get what you want is a whole other deal. You'd be like, hey, Baby J, I really want the next color that Monument Hobbies releases to be toothpaste.
That's not a color.
Well, yeah, but this is my point. It could be something weird. And I'm just be like, I'll take it under advisement. It doesn't mean the next color is going to be toothpaste.
Toothpaste is a flavor, Baby J. Don't taunt chat that way.
That's fair. That's probably very fair. Well, no, because you have toothpaste and then there are flavors of toothpaste. Toothpaste is not a flavor.
Can you sneak peek any of the upcoming line? Upcoming line of what?
No. I'm assuming they're talking about paints. And
we
no,
don't
I
have
cannot.
any. We don't have any samples of paints.
Nor am I going to tell you anything about them.
Well, we've talked about colors that are coming. Like in a general sense.
In
We
a
haven't
general sense,
said anything
yes.
specific.
Yeah.
Pepsodent is the best flavor toothpaste.
Put a little bit of highlight on this. Kind of edge detail on the jacket here. And on this side too.
Bruise. I wish we could have a color named Bruise. That'd be fun. We don't put flavor in the paint, Chuck.
Nope.
You're not concerned about the way the paint tastes. It's not meant to be eaten.
Don't eat the paint. Don't eat the paint. Said it once, we'll say it a million times. Don't eat the paint. So just kind of building up this highlight on the jacket here. Touch more of this khaki into here.
I'm ready to go to bed.
Huh?
I'm ready for bed. I'm tired.
Are you gonna go say hi to Cora and then crash? Yeah. That is fair. It's kind of one of those weird days. It started out really cold, and then we got a bunch of rain earlier on in the day, and then it stopped. And then it's been sunny for most of the rest of the day. But it feels kind of like a wet and rainy day. Very weird. Hey. Get some of the highlights down on the back of the jacket here. I need the previous layers, so I have to go back and get some of those ready.
But we saw wet and rainy here. We don't need to go to Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Had that today.
I saw wet and rainy when I was back in Seattle, so I definitely don't need any more of it here. Although I do like it. I was very excited this morning when it started raining. I was very giddy. Alrighty. I might try and add a nice little bit of highlight here to the red. Now, this is going to feel really pink for right now, but we're probably going to go back over it. A little bit of a glaze a little bit later. Bring out the warmth of it again. To figure out what color I'm going to do the Aquila. I think we'll do it in black. How is Cora doing, by the way? How is Cora doing, by the way?
Good.
Behaving herself?
Yeah.
Like usual? Sort of?
Still on her special diet.
Her special forever diet? Bummer.
But it's working.
That's what matters.
We're adding, she loves peas and carrots. So
You get the peas and carrots.
peas and carrots in her food.
Is it
Because
like...
it was a little too much. The prescription food was working a little too well.
Oh.
Plugging her up a little bit.
Oh.
So
Alright then.
veggies. And now it's perfect.
So... excuse me. Oh. Is her food, is it like wet dog food or is
It's
it
dry food?
it's dry food? Okay.
Yeah.
I was always curious. I was like, Are they making you have like wet food or?
No, that was the suggestion for helping to counteract some of the
The
constipation part of
Yeah.
it, was to add a little wet food. I was like, I don't want to do that. It's messy and gross.
Yeah.
So,
Dogs are not well known for their
so the internet,
table manners.
The internet suggested that you can add a little fiber with some veggies. So done, and it's worked great. She also gets carrots and peas for her treats now.
Oh, does she like those as treats?
Well, yeah. So she's a treat trained dog, you know. So she's used to getting treats at certain times for doing certain things, right? Like when she comes back in the house from being outside. If she's let us know that she needs to go outside, she goes outside, does her thing, comes right back in. She gets a treat because she did what she was supposed to do.
Yep.
And she knows this. So when they told us that we had to eliminate every food that we gave her, or every consumable thing that we gave her, we had to eliminate that and only give her this prescription dog food. And
you guys said you were like giving her the dog food as treats.
we were, yeah, because
she
the ritual
knew.
of it,
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
she knows, she comes in, she has a certain spot, she sits down and she waits,
And then she gets a treat.
and then she gets a treat. And so we were just giving her little pieces of the food, which the vet was like, yeah, that's a great way to do it. And then when we went back for the follow-up and they said, you know, nope, she needs to stay on this food. If it's working, that means that she had some kind of food intolerance.
Weird.
For everything else. But they said that, you know, you can try giving her like a carrot for a treat, and she loves it.
Okay,
So.
good. That's weird. Is that a thing that will just come out randomly?
The
for
food
dogs?
intolerance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, wait a minute, like this literally happened like one day out of the blue. She was fine, and then one day she wasn't. And I'm like, so it really would have happened that quickly? And she said, yeah, but really it's probably been happening over time. And the one way that I can say that, yeah, she probably wasn't feeling great from her food, and then it just got to the point where we started to really see it. But since she's been on this food, her coat is beautiful. Like it's so shiny. And,
Really?
Yeah. And that the doctor said that's from the food too. You know, 'cause that was one of the first things the doctor said when we went back, was like, "Oh my gosh, look, her coat looks great." You know, like you can see a difference.
Yeah.
In it. So yeah, it's
Wild.
been very interesting. Interesting journey.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that Cora's doing better.
Yeah, she's doing better. She's still fat. They just said
She's still fat.
Well, she gained a pound. So in the month that she was, from the first time we took her, and then we had her on the food for a month, and then we took her back for a recheck, she had gained a pound.
Oh,
now for a
food?
dog, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, she's 70 pounds, but to gain a pound in that short of a time when you're that, because she's fairly small looking.
That she packs
for
a
her
lot of weight.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like we have always said she's like 60 pounds in a 30-pound bag. Like
Yeah.
you shove it all in there. She's solid. So yeah, very interesting. We have so she's not necessarily like a fast eater. That's not the issue, that she's eating too fast. We do have like a mat, one of those mats that you can put food in and that helps them slow down. We use it more for like her boredom.
Yeah, she gets bored when she eats her food.
No, just boredom in general.
got
So we've got this little puzzle thing for her where it has compartments that you can put treats or food in, and then you put it down on the floor for them, and they have to find the food. So they have to open up all the little containers and get everything out. And it's, you know, if they spend 10 minutes on it, that's like mentally stimulating enough to wear them out for, you know, as if they had done exercise.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So she's really good at that. She likes it. She's got it figured out. So that's fun. But it's not, there are dogs who eat really, really fast, and that's obviously bad for them. So they make these little maze things, like it's a container and it's got all these little grooves and compartments, and you put the food in it so that they can't just smash their whole face in and eat all the food. They have to like go into each compartment and get their food. So it helps them eat slower.
Yeah.
We think she is a pit mix or a Staffordshire, some kind of a fully breed like that. Yeah. She looks like pit bull and basset hound, but we don't know if that's real. I'm seeing now Hershey saying that it's currently 41 below, minus 41 C.
Oh my god.
What is that in America?
That's like,
I mean, anything with a negative in front of it is unacceptable, but
well, I mean, yeah. So 32 degrees is 0 in Celsius. So it's, and I think it gets a lot large. Like the scale is different going negative than it is going positive.
Yeah, there's a whole formula, and
I want to say it's
that. I just know that that's too much.
It might be like 10 or 5, maybe closer to 0. Can anybody confirm or deny my quick maths on this?
Minus 40 is the crossover.
Minus 40 is the crossover temperature? They're both about negative 41. Holy cow.
Tabletop Titans, thank you.
Tabletop Titans, what's going on, everyone?
Raid. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. I am working on a really fun project that I've been wanting to paint for a long time. We have a really cool co-man squad that we are building and painting in a sweet custom scheme that I made up for my Solar Auxilia for not Titanicus, Legions Imperialis. So we're replicating it on some larger 40k Astra Militarum guys. Hope you guys had a good stream. Welcome, thank you for the raid. We're talking about very cold temperatures right now, and how being cold sucks.
Cold temperatures bringing Fahrenheit and Celsius users together in shared identical horror.
Isn't this amazing? Cold temperatures bringing Fahrenheit and Celsius users together in shared identical horror.
I just said that.
That's so good. Oh, that's so funny. What were you guys doing on stream today? Tabletop Titans and gang? Painting, gaming? Thought we were all taking turns at what? Punisher? DT Gaming were painting. Nice. What was getting painted? Very excited to know. I'm assuming the Tabletop Titans folks are all going to be at LVO, I would imagine. You guys going to be at LVO? Came in just as it ended. Got it. Am I adding anything to my paint? I'm thinning down the paint with a bit of water, John. And this is a mixture of light umber, what am I mixing? Khaki and brown gray. I'm kind of hitting a couple of different levels of brightness and color going through from the highlights to the shadows. Here I can pull my palette down so you guys can see kind of where I have this mix going on up here. I can pull from different areas depending on whether or not I'm working on a highlight or a shadow. I'm so glad that I didn't work out my arms too hard last night. When I got home yesterday, I was like, ooh, I am very sore. I hope that this is not worse tomorrow, because it'll be awfully hard to like hold my arms up and paint while I'm on stream. Lisa. Still on my brush. Down there. Blend some of these highlights together on the arm. Highlights underneath the shoulder pad there. Green tea helps with the soreness? How does that work? I've never heard that before. That's interesting.
Potassium-rich foods help with the soreness.
So bananas?
Eat a banana.
I like bananas. Jason hasn't been eating bananas on stream lately. What a bummer. We gotta get him in peak banana form. No more being sick. Bummer. But as he says, he gets sick one time a year. So should be good to go for the rest of the year.
I was wrong. I thought he'd be here, but doesn't appear to be so since it's 3:45.
Yeah. That's all right though. We will see him again soon. There will be more times. Stream's not going anywhere, so we will be back at it again tomorrow at 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Still got a little bit of time yet today. Outside of this jacket. I really love this brown color. Looks really nice. And my starting color for this is a mix of brown gray and light umber. 50-50. Straight up mix. Nice and easy to replicate.
I wouldn't give up on you guys.
Jen? What? Jen? What?
I don't know. Game Delay said that is the look of a Jen who has given up on chat. This is a very reasonable decision.
I mean, you guys can be a little crazy sometimes, to be honest.
If I look like I've given up on you, it's because I am exhausted
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
Jen's
Like
pretty tired.
absolutely exhausted. Like I keep looking at the time going, can I just leave 10 minutes early and go home right now? Like I don't know what hit me all of a sudden.
It's just
But
like out of the blue, you're just like, oh,
yes.
oh my goodness.
And people are saying, stop yawning. I'm sorry.
I've been there. I
You're
have been
sorry.
there. Oh, boy.
I've been sick and I feel better mostly, but just exhausted. Like I feel like I must still be fighting something, and that's why I'm still so tired.
Yeah.
I
Or
went to
catching up
bed.
on resting your body afterwards.
Yeah, I went
right?
to well, I turned the TV off and went to sleep at like 9:30 last night,
Yeah.
which is unusual, and it backfired on me because I was awake at like
Very
midnight
early.
and couldn't fall. I was awake for
Oh,
like
no.
2.5 hours, so I couldn't.
Do you find
fall
that if
back
you
to
don't
sleep.
have your traditional like nighttime routine that you have a hard time?
Well, I have so sleep and I have issues.
Yeah. I know you've mentioned it before.
Yeah, so because of that, I try to be very
Consistent.
consistent with my sleeping schedule.
Yeah.
So I go in and by 10 o'clock I'm usually in bed and watching TV and then I fall asleep like 11ish or so. So yeah, so if I could stay up a little later, I would probably sleep through the night without waking up in the middle, but I am so exhausted that I can't help myself from falling asleep.
Oh no.
So, yeah. It's kind of a mess.
I'm sorry, Jen.
No.
I hope that you
I mean,
get
it's
some
I
delightful
function
rest.
fine normally. Like most night I track I sleep with my Apple Watch on because it tracks my sleep, and so I'm very fascinated by it, and I look at it every single day to see because it tracks not just like the amount of time you sleep but your sleep cycles,
Uh-huh.
and and then it shows them in a bar graph, and I can look at like the month, and or I can look at a week at a time, a month at a time, or 6 months at a time, and there's right in the middle pretty consistently is a big chunk of awake time every
Interesting.
night. So if I could stay up a little later, then it would probably even that out, but I can't. Like I fall asleep when I fall asleep, and then I ended up waking up. So it's weird.
It is weird. Right. I feel like it's time to glaze some color into this jacket. I think we're gonna go with like 10 minutes. So we're gonna do what's the plan here? Let's do a little bit of transparent, or we could do, I like this idea. This is easier. Do a little bit of brown wash. Grab a little bit of glaze and wash medium.
I want to be clear that I am not exhausted because of chat today. Ghost Hunter said, we haven't asked for plaid or hot pink or a popcorn machine. How can she be exhausted with us?
Somebody
did ask for plaid, though.
Yes.
I feel like it was you, Ghost Hunter.
Yeah, what the heck, Ghost Hunter?
Jen, don't you know the owner? We're acquainted.
We're acquainted. I've met this person.
I've met her once or twice. I don't really like her that much, but whatever.
Whoa.
As part of chat, I cannot believe this is a sincere question. We all know what we do.
It's true.
You guys are awesome.
You all know what you've done.
Yes. You should be proud, FireArk. A Spectrum of Stupidity is the title of my autobiography. Oh, it was Treebird. He wanted plaid. That's right. Ghost Hunter asked for all Olive drab, not plaid.
Yes. Which is a much more reasonable request. Who paints with plaid, anyways? This hat reminds me so much of the Rebel Alliance hats from Star Wars. Because they have the little earmuff thing, and they have the little visor, and then they have a little cap on top, and then the floofy bit at the top. Using a little bit of the glaze and wash medium to thin down these paints for extra opacity. Doing a little bit of subtle glazes into the face. Add some color.
AG, John wants to know what you washed the figure with.
That would be our brown wash mixed with a little bit of glaze and wash medium to make it a little bit more transparent so it doesn't stain as much. Just a nice little all over wash to get the colors to get muted down a little bit, and then we can readdress, do some highlighting after it's all dry. And I think what I'm going to do now is paint some of these backpack thingamabobs, which I'm going to use some warm brown for, if I can find it. I found it.
Will that combo work for all your washes?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the glaze and wash medium is super versatile, right? So the whole idea is that it's a clear medium that you can add to our paints, our regular acrylic paints, our transparents, our fluorescents, our washes, and the idea is you keep the same consistency for the fluidity of the paint, so it still remains thicker like a paint, but it makes the paint more opaque, or I'm sorry, more transparent. I am also tired apparently. So the idea is that you can apply it in a thicker, more controllable coat while still having the level of transparency that you would get when you would thin with water. And so you can do both things. You can thin for opacity or transparency, and you can thin for fluidity. So you can add water to make it thinner. And bye, Jade. Or you can add
and Chuck.
And Chuck, bye. And you can add glaze and wash medium to make the paint more transparent. So, and having a transparent paint is great because it lets you keep all of the work that you've already done and just mute down the model a little bit to make it feel a little bit more grungy and dirty. And then afterwards, all we've got to do is paint on top of it once it's dry. I'm going to do a little bit more work to the face here since I did a little bit of glazing with the few minutes that we have left. Because Jen's got to go take a nap. And we're just going to glaze this into highlight areas.
Philip, are you out there? Can you lock the doors for me? Or Jabe. Philip almost always locks the doors before I even get there. I feel like it's handled.
It might be handled.
It's probably handled. Thank you, Phil.
There we go. Phil took care of it.
There we go. Favorite door locker. Why is it Phil?
Who's your favorite door locker and why is it Phil?
Because he's so good at it.
He's like, all I did is turn the lock.
Hmm?
He's like, all I did was turn the lock.
Yeah. Oh, it's more than turning a lock. Have you ever had to lock that door?
Which one? The front? I have not. I've never had the opportunity to, Jen. One day you'll have to show me.
You should be thankful.
I'm a big boy. I can figure it out. Throwing a little bit more highlights back on the red. Now that wash is dry. Highlight there. It's a very strong scratch. I was gonna put some scratches on. Be a little bit more subtle than that. That's probably good for right now. I think. A little bit down here on the belly. Bye, Jabe.
Bye.
Jabe's leaving us.
Jabe's leaving.
He's going home for the day.
Everybody probably going home.
Almost like he's got to like move or something.
Yeah.
I do think it's hilarious that he's doing the same thing I did when I moved here.
What?
Moving into a new house and then immediately going to a show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised I wasn't completely toast for that show.
Exciting.
It was exciting. I got the excitable boost.
All right, I'm getting these links in here.
Yeah, get them in here. Let's close this up and get Jen out of here.
But I'm gonna do it again. So the store link is where you can buy all of the Monument Hobbies products that you see Jordan using.
The FLGS link is a great place where you can find local game stores near you
Yep.
to be able to pick up the paints as well. The Discord link, which Jen just put up, is a great place to hang out, talk about nerd stuff. We do our monthly Discord challenges on there. It's a great place to learn, have fun, and generically have a good paint time. And then we've got our YouTube. It's where we put all of our shorts and all of our long form and short form videos. Both our shorts and everything go on there, as well as our sorry, Jacob, as well as our stream VODs. So once our VODs get a couple of days old, we'll swap them over to YouTube so that they are evergreen for you guys to go back and watch if you missed any. If you're still here from the raid, thank you for hanging out with us. Drop a follow if you want to join us. We stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 2 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Occasionally we are joined by Chair Guy.
Chair Guy who's standing and who's not in a chair.
Yes, standing guy.
And we also have a William here, but he's not showing himself.
Hi, William. We also have so if you want to join us that time, it is Mountain Standard Time. which is the time in Arizona right now. You can Google that if you want to figure it out. I know it's a weird time
It's
zone.
4 o'clock here right now.
It's 4 o'clock here right now. Whatever time it is for you,
Look
2
at your
hours before
clock.
that is when we start.
There's
But
your connection.
thank you all. We're going to find somebody to raid. Make sure you join us next time for some more painting fun, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
This last little while. Oh my gosh, look, it's the Monument Hobbies. Oh my god.